we're about a third way through the season, so it's not halfway through the year, but these aren't our midseason awards for good guy of the year. But this guy has been on the list, and he famously got his team to 0-12 this season. There were a lot of people that were pointing, at this school. You went and saw the school in person. They were saying, should they even have a basketball program? What even is the point? Mark Fox is the good guy of this week, and it is because Cal, he's such a good guy that last night when Cal won their first game to get to 1-12, all of the reaction, what very little reaction I saw was so happy for this good guy, Mark Fox, to get this to get this off his back.
How many people are listening to this and had no idea Cal even won last night? And
right,
are like,
right.
And we just broke the news to them that Cal won a basketball game.
And he was already a good guy because I was expecting 0-13. So, but it made it even better to see the reaction when people were excited, at what he had been able to accomplish with his one win. I mean, 0-12 is really hard to happen as a power conference team, with the way schedulings go, with the way bye games happen. We know John Rothstein loves talking about bye games, but for Cal to beat a team by 22, Titus, I mean, how is that
Cal basketball back? I think that's what you got to ask yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's Mark Fox turning the corner. He still has a better win percentage than White King Jones. People forget that. So he is the program is trending up despite all the hate. And he is, as we both know, a very, very good guy, and his players love him. He does not win NCAA tournament games. He does not do any of that, but he does have the love and support of the community that come to the games.
And he sent his guys into a Christmas break with a W. I think that's a guy who gets it, as Mark Fox. He's like, this is, you know what? Those first 12 games, they don't count. I think this game, if we can get a win and I can send my guys home to their families smiling and everyone's happy, then I've done my job. And he has done his job, as you said, Tate. What's the GPA of this team, by the way? Has anyone talked about that? Because I do find that interesting that we talk about the student athletes a lot, and there seems to be a lot of emphasis from these talking heads around the country, Tate, on the athlete part. And I don't hear of anybody talking about how Mark Fox is helping these guys get degrees from one of the great schools in this country. And I think the student part is being overlooked. And I don't know. I'm with you. I think Mark Fox is doing a bang up job in Berkeley. He's at a time when Tony Bennett has lost control of his program and they've lost 2 in a row. Mark Fox is hanging W's up there in Berkeley. So,
right.
You got to ask yourself, who's the better coach? Tony Bennett
Cal's
or Mark
won a
Fox?
more recent game than Virginia. Those are just the facts, and that is what we talk about on the show. But shout out to Mark Fox. I'm happy to see him back on the good guy board, but with a win, and not with a 13th loss, because 0-13, I do think there's a chance you meet around with the Board of Regents and say, should we fire this man? And
that is.
You can take 1-12, but 0-13 is a bridge too far, I think. So
and Christmas break's a good time to just like sneak it in there that we fired the coach. Like the players. I think let me pull up their schedule. They play. They have 8 days off, so they play the 29th. That is a good time to just like they show up for their game against Utah at home, and they have a different head coach, and the administration's like, oh yeah, by the way, we fired Coach Fox.
I mean, famously
on Christmas Day, we fired him on Christmas Day.
Famously, that's the Steve Alford plan, right? That's what UCLA did. We saw them play in the CBS Classic. They laid maybe the biggest dud I've ever seen in CBS Classic history, and then they played one more game, I believe, maybe on the 28th or the 29th, and then UCLA is like, get this man so far out of my face. Happy New Year. You have a new head coach. So maybe that's how California could have done it, but Mark Fox decides to be the good guy of the year so far and keep it going. So I'm really happy for Cal. I think, like I said, trending in the right direction, and I think we got a few more good guys on the way for Mark Fox. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself, but I think he's still gonna be the head coach.
Yeah, the Mark Fox, Kenny Payne, they both have won games now, but you're saying the Mark Fox versus Kenny Payne good guy of the year race is far from settled, and it's even though like most of the country has stopped caring about Louisville and Cal and their pursuit of a win, you're saying you're still locked in because these guys are going to be just great men all season.
Right. They're the best of men. Such good men that we're like, God, I really want to talk about how the fact I want to get rid of this guy, but he's such a good guy.
He's such a good dude.
And the players love him so much, and he means so much to this university, yada, yada, yada. Let's get to the fun one. Let's get to the bad guy. And as you brought up, Santa Claus, I mean, we're Christmas time. Santa Claus should be the bad guy. He should be the one that we're talking about. He should be the guy that's all red in the face right now as he goes around and brings joy to all the kids all over the world. But there's another red-faced man who likes to get upset at games sometimes, and who likes to stick his belly out at times to let people know that he's eating good, feeling good, living good. And that is the bad guy so far this season, and he's none other than Bill Self, Kansas head coach Bill Self. This man is living the dream. Number 5 right now in KenPom. They have the number 9 offense, number 12 defense. Their only loss is against a really good Tennessee team that they lost to in the Bahamas. But otherwise, they've been rolling. They had Coach Titus's Indiana Hoosiers come to town in Allen Fieldhouse. This was kind of one of those showdown games between iconic brands. They delivered. Bill Self delivered. Bill Self goes to Tiger territory, right? And all these Missouri fans, they're like, "This is our moment. We're gonna stick it to Bill Self. We're gonna stick it to Kansas. Why aren't you paying attention to us?" And Bill Self just rolls them. Has his guys after the game. Grady Dick's posting that he's the Tiger King, right? This is the most Bagman performance that we have seen in quite some time, and he's doing it without a traditional big. He's got KJ Adams playing the 5, who's 6'7", but somehow playing amazing defense in the post and shutting down some All-American bigs on the way. And Bill Self has never been happier. He's never been healthier. His stomach's never protruded in such a particularly fine fashion. And I hope he has plenty of eggnog, and I hope he enjoys his Christmas bake, because right now he is the bag man that we all were promised, and he's delivering the goods, Mark Titus.
Yeah, the Indiana game was a great reminder of who Adidas, who's the favorite child of Adidas.
Right.
This was at a time when Louisville's falling apart. NC State is NC State.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is Adidas? I mean, Miami's Adidas, right? They have a good program. I don't mean to tell them.
But Miami will take they'll take a call from anybody, right? Like Miami is a mercenary, right? They're Adidas today, they'll be Nike tomorrow.
The Big Four, though, I should have pulled this up, but the Big Four, if I'm thinking off the top of my head, Tate, the Big Four Adidas basketball brands in college are Kansas, Louisville, NC State, and Indiana, correct?
Yes.
Like, would those be the four that would
powers?
Those are the four that come to mind. And with NC State, or I'm sorry, with Louisville falling off the face of the earth, there's an opportunity for Indiana to step up and say we are the Adidas child that Adidas. We're not Kansas level, but like we're going to take Louisville's place. We're going to prove that we belong, and they go down the Fieldhouse and do the exact opposite. I'm officially worried about Indiana, but also I do find it fascinating. Xavier Johnson's going to be out for a while. And it's going to be interesting because I think Xavier Johnson, I don't want to tell you how to run your good guy of the week type thing, or good guy of the year. How you do the good guy,
balloting.
The balloting. I'm sorry. But Xavier Johnson is an interesting case because I think a player might actually make a strong case for this, where like Indiana fans are so prepared to, like, they don't want to I'm even trying to choose my words carefully. That's why I'm stammering as I'm trying to talk.
I was gonna say,
I can't even get it out.
Coach Titus is sitting here listening anxiously.
I'll say it. There's a belief that maybe Indiana might be better off with Xavier Johnson sideline, but also I don't know how you can say that out loud and be like, I'm glad the guy's hurt, because he's like a great dude and the team seems to love him. But also I'm not particularly like everyone's kind of worried that Indiana's really going to nosedive now that Xavier Johnson's hurt. And I think secretly, if you put the truth serum in a lot of Indiana fans, they'd be like, I don't think we're going to be that much worse off without Xavier Johnson.
They're winking at you. They're saying, I don't hate it. I don't necessarily, I hate it.
I'll say it that way. Yeah. I couldn't even get it out, because like that's a pretty up thing to say, honestly, to be like, oh, thank God the guy's hurt now. We might actually not turn the ball over and take stupid shots and XYZ. But at the same time, I would not be surprised if Indiana is slightly better without him.
Well, I'll just put it that way. Why we use our terminology, which is the nice thing to say, which he's a really good guy. And,
he's a good guy.
I'm always pulling for him, and man, he's a true Hoosier. But I like when Trey Galloway's bringing the ball up.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I surely don't hate it.
Right? More minutes for Tamar Bates. Kind
of like it. Looks good. Yeah. That's how good guy works. That's Cal fans, as they look at Jason Kidd with the Mavericks, they're like,
Yeah.
Kick down a peg. Who knows? That's what
Anyway, I'm definitely worried about Indiana though. I don't know. I don't know where Indiana is. I don't know what the new calibration of on this Indiana season should be because in Kansas looked like they were completely different level of basketball team against IU, and IU has I don't know, but I think that's important when you're talking about Bill Self being bad guy of the week is reminding everybody what the Adidas hierarchy is. And Kansas runs Adidas. We run this to the extent that we get investigated by the FBI and nothing happens. We win national championships and we keep the train keeps rolling. So
yeah, and in Bill Self's
go.
mind, he won a championship in 2020 as well. And in a lot of Kansas fans' minds, they won the championship in 2020. They were the best team in the country in their mind. So they have been on top, and they are devouring. I looked up the other colleges that are Adidas colleges. I mean, they are devouring the competition. The competition isn't even competition at this point. That's how elite they are compared to everybody else in the
Who
Adidas.
else? Like Texas A&M, they're Adidas, right?
Right, Georgia Tech is one of those
Georgia
teams.
Tech. I thought Georgia Tech was Russell Athletic.
Well, apparently that deal. Well, the founder of Russell.
Did they get force majeure?
I think the founder of Russell Athletic went to Georgia Tech, and that's why they were Russell Athletic. But then Russell Athletic, I think, went under, so that opened the the door for someone else to step in. And Adidas said, "We will be that team." So yeah,
never forget.
Kansas is head and shoulders above everybody else.
Never forget, UConn once upon a time wore Aeropostale. Is that how you say it? Aeropostale?
Aeropostale, I think.
I say Aeropostale.
That's how I say
also,
it. I mean, maybe I'm an idiot. I don't.
I'm also a hick from Hendricks County, Indiana, so I don't know.
I'm a hick from Henderson, North Carolina.
They were Aeropostale football uniforms. UConn once upon a time. I just remember this, dude. When Bill Self suspended himself, as we remember, because he was completely innocent of any sort of improprieties with the recruiting stuff. But just in case I did do something, I'm going to suspend myself.
I'll step aside.
I'll step aside.
Give myself a little break. Yeah.
But I didn't do anything. But if I did, I'll suspend myself. But I also didn't do anything. And when he came back from suspension, if I remember correctly, this year they played NC State in the Bahamas. So that just adds to the Bagman legacy that of the Adidas hierarchy that he's like, I'll come back to beat NC State's ass. I'll be there when we beat Indiana's ass. That's what I exist to do, is to remind everybody that I run Adidas. Kiss the ring.
Yeah,
literally, because I won the national championship last year.
Yes, and I would not be shocked if Snoop Dogg shows up in the second part of the season and gets people back on the board of hey, look, we love Kansas and Kansas is top dog. So shout out to Bill Self. When I see him, I just think of Christmas for whatever reason. I feel like he's giving out gifts everywhere, left and right, and they have 3 stripes on them, and they say, "Come play at Kansas." And these kids are taking them, and they're doing it. And congratulations to him. Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.